All right. Hello, hello. Thanks everyone for being here. And it's my first time speaking at Messari, and there's room for questions later. But I'm going to run through a little bit of update about what we've been up to at Scroll, and a little bit about how we view Web3 mass adoption and what we've learned from the last year of running a fully functional mainnet. So how Scroll started. It's important to kind of start with our purpose of building this product. So we wanted to build Scroll in a way that scales Ethereum. Our first goal was scaling, and our second goal was a very dev-focused kind of goal, which is to build something that is fully compatible. And the third goal, which is very end user and adoption focused, which is that we wanted to build a user experience as smooth as scrolling on your phone. We started off as a research project, and the idea is that we wanted to build a world computer that is decentralized, and applications can be built on top of it using the existing Solidity framework that Ethereum has managed to proliferate. And we've built the most compatible ZK chain so far. And with the path, with batch compassion, we're kind of on this path to infinite scaling for the next few years. And for most people in the developed world, the cost associated with ZK transaction is going to become completely negligible. And that is a future that we should be building towards. But the idea of build it and they'll come, has that been manifested? That is a question mark. So from the builder's perspective, we're definitely seeing a flurry of new builders coming to the space and taking advantage of this framework. In Web 2 history, every time there's a 10x of infrastructure scaling enablement, the type of innovation or application kind of goes on this like hockey stick skyrocket. So TikTok and YouTube are enabled by the last kind of infrastructure of Web 2 latency increase, and we're at the precipice of something like that for Web 3 infrastructure. So what have we done so far? We've built a chain that's 100% compatible with the fastest finality amongst all of our competitors. And finality is an area that I will go into about why it matters. It's where we're category winner in this particular category, and we always will be. And this is the key to interoperability and chain abstraction and much better removal of end user onboarding friction. We've been growing exponentially in terms of user transaction and on-chain capital. We have about 1.2 billion in bridge assets on Scroll right now, coming from a place of starting from zero a year ago, and we have 250 plus ecosystem projects, including some of the brand names and projects that everyone's familiar with for the last couple of years. So we're the second largest market for Aave on any L2, and you can find your usual DEXs, lending pools, perp DEXs, as well as kind of stablecoin projects. Anything that you're sort of familiar with from the last, from being on chain should be holistically available on Scroll. The world we live in is in a very different place from when Scroll originally started, when block space was scarce and expensive. And right now, the build out and then the infra universe is facing an array of new problems that includes chain fragmentation, liquidity and UX fragmentation, on-off ramp friction, which still remains after so many years of us as an entire industry trying to build an onboarding experience. And there is a lack of new distribution channel. So whenever we do on-chain analysis, for the last 2 years, there have been the same number of people and active capital that is swerving around between chains and swirling between different protocols, and very little net new inflow of new users outside of Web3. Why is that? And can the devs do something? Can Scroll do something? And that brings us to the question of what we're going to do next. Are we at a place where block space is so abundant that cost completely doesn't matter? The answer is we're very close to that point, but we're not quite there yet. For the next year or so, we're going to continue to focus on performance optimization. We're going to get to 100 milliregrams per second and minus 1 cent ticket transaction. So for anything that is like sub-cent or 0.0 cent, most people will not feel the difference. And we're getting close to instant proving time, which is going to make payment and on-chain transaction cognitively like negligible when you're waiting for the transaction to take place. The second thing that we'll be focusing on is decentralization at every level. And that means decentralization, decentralized provers, decentralized sequencers, and decentralizing in terms of the operators around the globe in order to create the most secure on-chain transaction experience. 3, we're working very, very hard on chain abstraction. The idea that when when a net new user come on chain, one is faced with too many choices of chains, choices of protocols. How do we extract that away from people when people come on chain predominantly for the sake of making a transfer or for personal kind of yield optimization, like personal finance, or they're looking to have fun or find a community. So whatever that purpose is, a lot of the stack decisions should be extracted away from the end user. And to that effect, we've launched something called a key store rollup, which is something where an end user can maneuver their assets across different chains through this like instant finality chain where you can call data from other chains super fast, like super quickly. And we're also building out a different set of stacks like ZK login, things to make the end user onboarding experience as smooth as possible. And 4, we're laying solid foundation for global distribution through activating global communities, through hosting hacker houses, and through through community engagement at 60 different communities around the world. And we're also working with distribution channels and brands that are outside of the crypto core. I think most of the net new users are still coming in from centralized exchanges as the net on-chain onboarding process, and the friction and the knowledge gap between someone who is just kind of purchasing crypto versus being an active on-chain participant. There's still an education and knowledge gap that will probably require a little bit of time to fill. And that is the opportunity set. But stepping back a little bit and looking beyond the bubble or beyond the little teacup of the crypto L2 land or scaling universe, like why does chain or why does blockchain need to exist in the first place? And is there a way to capture an influx of net new users coming into the space as a whole, as opposed to doing kind of combative behavior between different L2s or between different chains? I think on a macro level, there is an increased amount of geopolitical uncertainty, and we're facing kind of a future very soon of unlimited intelligence and compute. And due to climate change, there's a huge amount of kind of geographical displacement, as well as work replacement due to AI replacing dev work. All of these uncertainties causes displacement, and displacement destroys trust. And in a universe where like trust is very much relied upon to be a counterparty to various transactions, is there a space where cryptographic proofs can fill in that gap and be that thing that people can rally around and rely on in a world of increasing uncertainty? So what really matters going forward? And in terms of adoption, what should be the thing that chains measure? Is it liquidity? Is it transaction? Is it end user count? Is it the number of novel use case? I think one of the things that we're trying to think about is a brand or is it trust? Is it a brand that people trust or a brand that people are mentally aware of and has mind share? So I think where Scroll wants to pay attention is this idea that programmable trust and cryptographic proofs is something that can bridge barriers and build liquidity, like build a kind of a platform for different counterparties to transact and interact. And that requires building future-proof tech, building adaptable and everlasting and like upward scalable technology, and build a framework where people don't need to trust us, the operator. They can trust math and cryptography by taking out any single points of failure or any particular node that owns too much of the network. And 4, kind of refocusing on decentralization and security at every layer of the stack. And 4, bringing the focus and highlight on the community and bringing the community along with us on this journey. With that in mind, this is the way to connect with us. We're live on Mainnet, and we're very active on Discord and socials. And I'll be available at the panel later for any questions. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.